Right, it's almost dark. Yeah, the course is quiet though, that's why I come out this time of night, it's not great. We're going to do a very quick video, maybe not so quick, but quick enough, showing you how to attack a front flag and a back flag with something other than your stock shot. Now don't forget, if you don't subscribe, please hit the button, hit the notifications bell if you subscribe, hit a like, leave a comment below, let me know what you think of the video and let me know what you want to see going forwards. Let's get stuck into it. We're in the same spot as I did the 5x5 test for proximity. It just made me think about whether you need different trajectories for your approach wedge shots. I think realistically, if you're an average golfer, right, and you play off, let's say, anywhere from 10 to 20, whatever it is, chances are you're going to be very good at mastering one. It'd be a much better idea, you know, and you get a front pin like what the stick on the right here, and just accepting 10, 15 feet long as a good result is all you need to do, because you're not going to compound any errors from missed greens. Not to say you shouldn't practice this, because maybe you should, but on the golf course, you know, using one flight more often and mastering it might be better than being average at 3 different trajectories. Okay, just a little bit of food for thought there. Now, don't let that put you off the video though, because we're going to have a look at hitting different flights to different pins. Obviously, we've got the flag, middle of the green, just forward to middle. We've got a back right flag and a front right flag. And I'm going to show you 3 different options I would suggest you practice, and if you feel like you are adept at it, use when these different situations come up. Okay, so let's have a look at the middle pin. That's going to be a stock shot, right? You don't need to really do anything with it. I've got no real pressure as far as room goes. I can fly it up there a little bit. This green, there is a bit of a firm first bounce. There's a lack of spin because, as you can see, it's getting dark. So there's some dew on the ground. Let's see if I can just hit a nice little stock shot to that flag. Popped a little bit, it's actually bounced short, embarrassingly. So let's give that another go. That was terrible. Leave it in there though, not doing outtakes. I need to land it near where that ball's finished, just short of. Okay, a little better. Well, it's released out maybe 10 feet by, so not amazing. It's about a 35, 38 yard shot. What happens if I hit the same shot to that front pin and land it on the green? Okay, so I'm going to do nothing with trajectory. I'm going to try and land it just on. And I've left it short. I think maybe that's like the competitive golfer in me. Doesn't want to fire it past. Let's give it another one. It's going to be a video of mistakes, this one. Right, okay, landed it on the green, normal flight. Let's do a better job. Bit more commit. Oh wow, it's popped up. Like I said, it's getting a little bit damp. You're going to get that pop up, but you'll see it wasn't intentionally high, so it lacked control and it's shot on. So, you know, when the ball does slip up the face like that, I'm going to leave it in there. I'm absolutely not cutting it out. When the ball slips up the face and you get the pop up, it'll hit the ground and it will go. It won't land like an intentionally high shot. Back flag. You know, this is the one where I would expect to leave it short more often than not, just out of fear of going long. So we'll go stock, or try to. It's actually going to turn out pretty good, isn't it? I've got the feeling it's just that kind of day. Shouldn't fit, but anyway. Right, so front pin, stock absolutely did not fit that. Back pin, yeah, I could land it quite a long way back and it released up that green quite nicely. Stock shot to the flag was awful, wasn't it? But anyway, let's look at what you can do to hopefully make results a little bit better. So this front flag, it requires either a ball that's landing short of the green, but if there was a bunker there, it wouldn't be an option. It's going to require something a little bit higher. So what I'm going to do, from front camera you'll see, I'm going to move the ball up just a little bit. I'm going to widen my stance a touch. I'm going to open the face, just going to go from 12 o'clock, going to go to 12:15. It's not enormous. Just a little bit of loft in there. Ball up slightly wider stance. That'll just shallow the base of the swing. Hit something a little bit higher into that front pin. Okay, so that's executed pretty well. So it wasn't a flop. It was a little bit higher than you might expect, but damp. It probably went as high as the one that popped up, but you can see there's a lot more control when it landed. Okay, so let's go back pin. We're going to go much lower. I'm going to go ball back a little bit. I'm going to stand a little bit closer to it. You see from down the line what that does, it just straightens out my approach a little bit. It keeps some steepness in there. I don't want to avoid any unintentional lower plane or shallow swing, which is going to shallow my attack. I'm going to bring the flight up a little bit. We're going to go ball just inside the back foot. Keep it fairly narrow, stand a bit closer, butt of the club moves forwards, hit something a little bit flatter, landing probably just short of the actual flag, and try and skip it back to the target. That's pretty much as described. It's finished just a little bit further away than the first ball. But I would be much more comfortable and confident trying to fire something to a back pin, landing it shorter, than actually having to try and fly it further back. All right, more often than not, I know it didn't happen that time because that's just the way it is today. More often than not, I'm going to leave that ball short, go on a normal flight. So something a bit flatter that back pin could be really, really useful. We'll go front pin again. Going to add that little bit of softness, that little bit of face opening. Widen up the stance just a touch. Pretty regular swing. You're not trying to do anything crazy in the swing, just flown it a bit too far. You see, I had a lot more on it. Now you can see it really trying to dig its heels in, so it's not terrible. You know, if you look at the one that popped up, the unintentional pop-up landed shorter and it rolled out way, way more. Back flag, I feel like I can run it back there more easily. Now, why not change club to do it? You could. I just like to hit lower shots with a more lofted club because it retains spin. Okay, so I know that ball is always slowing down as it gets back towards the flag. It's probably not going to keep going and going. All right, it is trying to dig its heels in, but because it comes in flat, it doesn't have the opportunity to straight away, but it will slow down faster than the same trajectory with a lower loft. Okay, it doesn't mean it can't work, it just means that's something you have to factor in when you try and hit the shot. So I've got my target line, I'm pretty much at the flag. Go inside that back foot, stand a bit closer, get my approach into the ball a bit straighter, fire it back there. Now that's hit a little bit shorter, but it's feeding back. If anything, a little bit lower, so you feel really good to that back flag with that lower shot. Feel very, very comfortable using much more of the green, skipping it back there. This front one's just an absolute nightmare. You know, the only way to actually genuinely get this close and land it on the green would be to go really high. But the thing is, once you're in a position where you feel like that's a risk or a slightly risky option, it's just not worth doing. You may as well be 10 feet long giving yourself a putt than the risk of a miss hit, you know, hitting it bladed way long. You could hit it out of the hosel, you could hit it short, whatever it is. And the only way to get really close is high. So, you know, just for fun, because everything else has gone so smoothly, I'm going to hit something a little bit more up. Hopefully not like that. It's going to spin the face open some more. That was an awful practice swing. I really should make another one, but you know, discipline, it's out the window. High enough. Pitched a fraction short of the green. It's just fed down to the right. Carried another 2 feet, probably pretty good. I don't think the spinner's going to work just because I think it's too damp on the ground. You can dry this club face off a little bit. Try and hit something a little bit more flat, spinny, kind of cut into that front flag is another option, just for entertainment value. Most likely going to pop up, we'll see. Yeah, it's popped right up in the air. Just not enough friction there. Right, so the high risk shots, they didn't really finish that close. You know, I've hit one just a little bit high with a minor adjustment to get to that flag. And it's, one of them was 8 feet by, one was maybe 9, 10 max. Two balls I just hit there, 8. You know, I haven't gained a great deal by taking a huge risk. You know, sometimes the benefit of risk just isn't worth it. So stock shot, if you don't have the other shots in your locker, is always good. You know, your back pin, you're going to be able to leave it short. You're not going to go over the back of the green, which would be the cardinal sin. To that front flag, leaving it short, especially if there's a bunker or a hazard there, that would be the sin there. Being 15 feet long is so much better. But if you can develop something a bit flatter, fired in for back flags, something higher and softer for front flags, it's only going to benefit your wedge game.